So, hi guys, how are you doing today? Welcome back to another episode of Say Hi to God today. Um, Today, I'm basically asking the question, what are you declaring? What do you say about your life? What are you filling your mind with? I've come across a few words and men of God who have been speaking, and it seems, when the preachings are going on, it seems that the Spirit is one. The same message is being preached but in different ways by different men of God, and it's like there's just a season where God says, oh yeah, everybody talk about faith, everybody talk about marriage, everybody talk about hope, something, I don't know. But somehow we just tend to see that there is the same theme across different churches. It doesn't matter the denomination, it doesn't matter where you are. And today I was basically just coming here to ask you, really and truly, what are you declaring? You know, the things that we say and we say about ourselves, we declare into our future, the things that we actually speak out. It says where there is where the word of a king is, there's power. And remember that God has told us that He has made us kings and priests, you know. And I believe that you need to be so mindful of the things that you say. When I was younger, I remember in secondary school, I would say things and they would just come to pass, and I'm like, I don't understand. Am I like a prophet or something? You know, I had no clue, that God had said we were kings and prophets. I thought that prophets were like a special group of people that God decides to bless, you know. So I didn't understand how. Also, even my first car, I basically called my first car into my life. I don't know how many people know this story, but in my university, when I started in my first year, I started getting pocket money, and in my mind, honestly, that pocket money was gonna buy me my first car. Like, I was going to save up, I was going to be very diligent, and then buy myself my first car. Unfortunately, little did I know that, of course, that was just not possible. You know, my pocket money was not that large. Okay, so in my first year, I was telling my friends how, that don't worry, that before my final year, I'm going to be driving a car. I didn't know how that car would come, and it was obviously just, you know, talk. But somehow, I actually genuinely believed I could get that car. Just that I believed I could get it by myself by saving up and then buying a car. Now, just during my final year exams, or while we were preparing for third year second semester exams, I saw this poster for a pageant. I saw this poster for a pageant, and the first prize was a car. A car, and I think 100,000 naira or something like that. In my mind, I'm like, this is big. This thing was second prize. I think was a fridge or a TV or something, and then 50,000 naira. I can't remember. And the third prize was a BlackBerry and 50,000 naira. I'm like, anyone I get like this is okay. Oh, anyone is okay. But of course, I was aiming for the car. And funnily, I actually went ahead and did this pageant. It was the most ridiculous thing. I had never done a pageant in my life. I had never modeled anything in my life. I had no clue what I was doing. But then I went there, I did this pageant, and I won the pageant. So I won my first car, and this was right before I started my final year. And then it clicked when I entered my final year that I had said and I had proclaimed this thing already, saying that before my final year, I will be driving a car, and it actually did came to pass. There's several similar stories that I've heard also, and I've experienced personally regarding things you say. So what are you really saying? Okay, there's also the illustration. There's also, understanding what you're filling your mind with, because what you're proclaiming, they say, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. Right? So you have to know, you have to fill your heart, fill your mind with words that are actually useful, things that are actually useful. What are you filling your mind with? Because it is from your mind that you start to proclaim things. I've heard the story of people who said things like, I won't live long, me, I will die before this, that person will this, and then they all happen. And then people are wondering what has happened. You have sent a word ahead of you. So what are you sending ahead of you? What are you speaking about? When you fill your mind, when you don't know what you don't know, you don't know. And if you don't know what you should be speaking or the promises that God has already given to you, you will continue to declare things that are not for your status. Christ has said that we have dominion, and he has given us dominion over every single thing. Now, how do you keep dominion? How do you have dominion if you don't know you have dominion? Do you understand? Now, that is where it goes back to understanding. I keep talking about this thing, and even me, I'm trying to learn it. You have to fill up yourself with the word of God. Fill yourself up so much that you have no space for any other rubbish. You have to filter what you're reading, filter what you're listening to, filter what you are watching. Social media has made things so easy. Even the good, bad, and ugly, everything now looks very normal. You know, people are posting things. I saw a post yesterday, and a friend of mine was saying, basically, if they put your screen, your Instagram screen that you're scrolling through, on the church screen in you know, your church and all that, they project your Instagram feeds on the church screen, how would you feel? Would you feel confident enough to say, okay, everything that is going through my feeds or everything that is on my timeline is decent enough to be shown in church? Or are there those pages that are subtly leading you astray and turning your mind into something else? You know, they are clouding your mind, so you're filling yourself up with the word of God. Then you go on Instagram and then you see people, you know, how did she put it? It was Nicole. How did she put it? She put it as, hey, something content, like basically like sensual content 2.0 or something like that. But basically, you know those people. There are those people on your timeline. You know, so what are you doing about it? It's not enough to say that you're speaking or you're trying to come to church on Sunday, listen to the word of God, go back home, and then every other thing besides that moment you are in church is against what God is actually asking you to do. It's like how in the Bible Jesus told them when Mary came to Jesus at the wedding feast in Canaan. And this was, and he came in the wedding feast in Canaan and said to them, Mary said to them, there was no more wine at the feast. And he said to them, fill it up with water. Fill it up to, you know, fill up the jars that you have with water. And then, you know, he turned it into wine. Now, for you to receive your miracle, I've only just come to understand that literally you have to fill, Christ is the living water. You have to fill yourself up with the word, because when you have the word, you can have it in your world. That's very stolen, very, very stolen. But like I keep saying, it's one of my favorite phrases that give me hope. Because if I find it in the word and I know that I can have it in my own world, then it just gives me hope, because I know that God is not a liar. Do you understand? So your faith is being built up by the things that you are listening to. Faith comes by hearing, and by hearing of the word. Do you understand? So you have to keep having yourself and your mind in that place where you are constantly hearing the word of God, you know? So how exactly are you training yourself to have a healthier mindset? Okay, you know that where your mind is now, or the way you think, is not in line with where you should be. Maybe you always think negatively. You know by yourself that you're a pessimist. You know by yourself that you're a pessimist. How are you doing anything, or are you even doing anything to try to change that mindset? This same Nigeria where we're crying that the economy is bad, there are people that are drilling in billions into their accounts. There are people that are hiding bags of millions in their apartments. The money is too much. They don't even know where to keep it. There are those people. Now, you may feel like these are people that are doing illegal things, but not everybody is doing illegal things. Some people are actually doing businesses that are bringing them a whole lot of money in this same economy. So you have to choose your struggle. You have to choose where you want to be. Do you want to be among the people who are aspiring or who are working towards actually achieving that abundance? Because Christ has given us a mindset of abundance. Christ has given us an abundant world. Like, if everybody, like, the world has enough resources to take care of every single person. Now, of course, by man's greed, somehow we're not exactly sharing it accordingly. So, which is why there's scarcity here and there. But it is so important that we continue to put ourselves in the place where we understand that Christ is abundance. Like, we are abundant. I don't know, it's even hard for me to understand that Christ has said that we will do even greater works than he, Christ, did. There was never a time where Jesus had that mindset of abundance. Bring what you have, it will be multiplied. It will be utilized. And utilized properly as needed. What are you filling your mind with? It's your faith. That's how you build your faith. I realized that, I think a few years back, if you had given me a test on faith, I would have probably been like a D or an E. I'm still working on it. Maybe I'm like a C now, or it's almost B. We're getting there. We're getting there. But you have to constantly remain in the place where you're hearing, where you are reading, where you are studying, you are understanding for yourself. Fill yourself up with the word of God. Because when your mind is constantly in that place, in the peace of God, first of all, yes, that peace always comes with the knowledge of knowing that you are sorted. You are sorted, you are taken care of. Okay? So build your faith. Build your faith and continue to build your faith. Christ says that he is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. Of course, God is not a liar. So if he tells you that he will reward you when you diligently seek him, my guy, go and seek him. Go and seek him. That's literally what you need to do. I'm so happy that you've been able to listen to this. I'm so happy that you're here today, and I hope that honestly and truly you'll pick something in this message that will help you in your life, in your world, in your walk with God. Please feel free to reach out to me. Send me a DM, send me a message, send me anything. I'll probably, respond. I will respond. Not I'll probably respond. My response time may not be great, but I will eventually respond. So please don't be discouraged. Share your thoughts, share your comments. If there are any topics or areas that you also would like to hear about, please let us know in the comments. And take care of yourself. Don't forget to say hi to God today and go a step further and just ask him to take control of everything happening in your day and in the rest of your week. God bless you. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.